Hey, there we go. Now it's kind of working. Sorry about that. We had a few technical difficulties setting this up. It wasn't sharing on Facebook for whatever reason, and right now I'm just trying to get reestablished and make this actually start working. So I've got a special guest coming on here shortly. It's me and Darren Kenning, the one who's got all sorts of bright and vivid colors. So if y'all get the chance, go ahead and share it out. Hello, Sheila. Good to see you. Share it out with your friends. Tag your friends. Grab some popcorn. Do whatever it is you want to do. And we'll start out here shortly. I've got Darren popping in here in about like 2-3 minutes. He had to run to his studio and fix a couple things. But just a little preemptive heads up on what we're going to be doing. We're going to be painting a couple of, or at least one elk right next to a river, drinking from a river. The theme was, what was the theme? It was, I can't remember the Psalms it came from, but as a deer pants for water at the river, so does my soul pant and thirst for the Lord. That's what the theme was. That's the idea. And it's good to see y'all. Glad y'all are showing up. Hey, Jennifer, good to see you. Leia. And here we go. We've got Darren. Let's hope this fixed. Whoops. Let's hope this fixed it up. You in your studio, Darren? I'm going to go ahead and mute him real quick. Once he jumps back on, I'll go ahead and unmute him. So just a heads up for everybody. I'm over in Panama City, Florida, and I've been painting for about, I'd say 4 years, roughly. All right. We've got him.
There. Let's see what I can do. No, I can't. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can't see comments, so if you can see them, then, but whatever.
Yeah, I can see on my phone. So right now, Darren is using watercolors, I believe, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I just started watercolors this year. COVID-19. Because of COVID-19, I started watercolors. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
With that said, I've painted 400 now in 6 months. 400 watercolors.
That is a lot. You paint a lot faster than me. I've painted probably like 16 in that time.
Well, I've been painting a long time. And it's a bit of business for me, too. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So I found this awesome picture. It was like a sunset kind of mood in the Rocky Mountains. So I wanted to try to do something like that. And right now I'm just starting with this crazy clicking going on, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. It's pretty nuts. It's not as bad as it was before, though. I can tell you that much. It was so bad.
I think people can see a bit. Anyway, let's see. There you go. I'll do that. I'm painting the sky first and then just getting the background stuff done.
You've got Sheila said she was thinking about starting with watercolor here soon.
You know, there's a lot of good YouTube videos that you can learn from. You know, that's what I've been doing. Just
doing the same thing.
And there's a lot of good artists out there, and they're teaching. You can get a lot of it just by going online. So it's what I do. Just say I want to learn how to paint a certain thing, type it into YouTube. Sure enough, it's there. So I'm just painting the sky and the water. I want the water to reflect the sky. And then I'm going to use what the opposite spectrum from yellow is like a purpley blue. So my mountains will be that. And then I'm just going to go with earth tones for the actual deer. Somehow I'm going to get a tree in this too. So we'll figure it all out as we go.
You gotta have one of those trees in there. Always adds to it. Right now I'm just poking in the sky right now. I've already got a lot of the whites for the snow put in so that when I put in some pink and purples for the shadows, it'll just kind of automatically blend and make it slick and quicker. Prima, if you know what that is. That's wet on wet technique. Eric, I don't know how if that's pronouncing it right. She said this is her first, or she just started painting COVID and she's a beginner.
Who is?
Leah Earth.
Oh yeah. I've seen a lot of her paintings. You're doing a good job. Keep it up.
I want to see.
Yeah, she does good. So sometimes with watercolor, what you got to do is just wet the paper beforehand and then put your color on after and it slides on real good. And I love watercolors because you see my tray? You just re-wet the paints and just go at it again. You don't have to get rid of them every time. You can use them over and over until they're gone.
That's super useful. Ooh. So there's a lot more crimson in there. So my sky is kind of blue, purple, and almost yellow. Like, not extremely yellow, but it's got some yellows in there. And then there's some browns in the mix, but it's mostly a purple and pinkish painting. At least that's what I'm using for a reference. I'm going to have to use a lot of white. Let's see if this works. So those of y'all who are watching, go ahead and let me know what y'all paint with, or if you do art at all, or what your connection with art is. Oh, and Leia says, thank you, Darren. You inspired me.
I'm glad. It's really a crazy crack in there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to turn down my volume a bit. Thank you, Lord. Snap, crackle, pop.
Rock.
I got some new brushes the other day.
I want to see.
Well, they're not much to see. It's just, they're like pencils, you know what I mean, on this. See, oh, where are we? Right here. I love these. And you get a package of them, about 12 of them in one pack for watercolor for about $15 to $20. And they last a lot longer in watercolor. Watercolor, the paints, everything lasts a lot longer.
It's probably because it's not as harsh on the canvas. Right. They're real fine and they glide, if I had to guess. Am I right? Or how does it work?
Well, it's just you don't use as much paint. Mm-hmm. And the brushes are not as hard on, the paint is not hard on the brushes because you're using a lot of water.
Yeah.
And they're easy to clean. And you actually clean them with I just use a paper towel and dab the paper towel to get the water off. It's real simple. Been studying a lot of the colors a lot more lately too because of transitioning a bit into the others, you know?
Oh yeah.
What colors go.
Right now I'm trying to contain this pink mess that I have on my palette. Right at the bottom.
No, it just becomes a little accident, right?
You said you got
Boss.
sunset on yours?
Well, it'll be that kind of time of day. Sunset or sunrise.
Here we go. I'm trying real hard to keep your pace today.
You don't have to.
I don't
That's
think
funny.
it's going to happen, but because you paint so fast.
Well, you do nice stuff. Keep it up.
It's a good way for me to kind of loosen up my strokes and instead of keeping it all tight.
I think I paint so much is the thing. I've painted just in this month. I've painted about 45 paintings since January 1st.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're doing that, you don't even think about what you're doing. You know what I mean? You're just doing it. I know what colors go, and so I don't have to wrestle in my mind what color. I used to.
I just stick to red, yellow, and blue, and keep it contained to those three. And then with white, that's about it.
Yeah, that's good because those three you can make a lot of color from those. Now that I got my mountain started, I got my sky, I got the earth. So this earth, the water, the mountain, and the sky are started. You guys might not be able to see it. There's white spots right here where my two animals are. Whether or not what they are, I don't really know, but I think they're elk, but they could be here.
Oh no. Okay, so we've got Sheila. I'm gonna try to catch up on the comments. It says I have 2 paintings going on, but neither are finished yet. I would love to see those, Sheila, because you've been improving. And Jennifer Fields says she's painting right now with oil. That's awesome.
I've never used oil. I'd like to at some point.
Yeah, one of
Like,
these
I
days I'm
remember
gonna come down to come up to Canada, and I'll show you how it works.
I think, I need another studio in my house. I have 2 art studios in my house now. I got my acrylic studio downstairs, and now in this office, I've got the because I like to have spots in my house I just enter into.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to think about it. I just go to the spot. Next thing you know, you're painting. I do it so much, I don't want to have to set it up every time. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. So I'm trying to get a few shadows in here right now. I'm blocking in the sky for the most part.
If you guys don't know, I'm painting the actual animals. I'm going for the horns, painting the antlers. Sorry, painting the antlers. And when I first started, I hated painting antlers.
Why is that?
Because if you get it wrong, you get it real wrong.
Oh, this is true. Oh, okay, Jared, are you using what? No, I'm using. Oops, I muted myself. I'm using oil colors or oil paint. I've maybe used watercolors twice in my lifetime. I was not a fan, but that's because I didn't really have an understanding for the colors and how they mixed and stuff, and what colors made what.
Yeah.
So I could probably come back and figure it out pretty easily, but I would need to look up a couple videos.
It's easy once it didn't take a lot for me to learn how to use. I think if you move to like from acrylic to water or, some of the other mediums, it's easier once you got one down because color. You just got to figure out how the paint moves on the other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't want to get into any new stuff. I mean, for me, the watercolor was awesome this year. It really brought a new way of painting for me. I love it. Very excited about the new day that I have with my art this year. The watercolors really changed the way that even my acrylic paintings began to shift because of painting with watercolor.
I think I started out with acrylics just like you did, but I moved on to oils just out of curiosity because I watched a lot of Bob Ross. I know you don't like Bob Ross, but when I started with oils, I actually couldn't stand it. But I got tired of how fast the cuts were drying because that would take a long time to paint. So oils kind of just catered to my style. I like taking my time. No, it's not. I'm definitely not taking my time. I'm just starting to understand acrylics. Okay, so layers is just starting to understand acrylics. It looks hard to me. Watercolors. And Sheila says she loves acrylics. She was actually really good at acrylics. Y'all should check her out sometime. And actually, Sheila.
What's Sheila's last name?
Calgill.
Oh yeah.
I believe she's in a lot of the different live streams, or gone around and watched a bunch of live streams.
I've seen her. Yeah.
Really nice. I like her.
Can't forget that name.
What, Calgill?
No, it's one of those kind of cowgirl kind of names. You know what I mean?
It sounds like cowgirl.
Yeah, cowgirl.
Cowgill.
Having the right name gets you a prophetic word on the broadcast.
Say again.
I said, when a person has a unique thing like that, you get more prophetic words. You know.
Really? I did not know that.
Oh, yeah, those names stand right out to people.
Actually, that does make sense.
I don't know if maybe she's never gotten a prophetic word on the broadcast. I don't know.
Sheila, have you ever gotten a prophetic word on the broadcast before? Just let us know in the comments.
Because I'm not giving one right now.
I was just that was just strictly curiosity. I bet you've been doing that for a hot minute all day.
No, I didn't do a lot of that today, but I've been working hard today. I'll say that much.
I believe it. Ooh, I really like how this pink and purple and blue sky is shaping out.
I'm liking this. I'm liking this too.
All right, time to switch to my yellow brush. Yours is looking almost finished.
No, it's another 20 minutes.
You said another 20 minutes before it's finished?
At least, yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I can go. It could.
Oh, so go ahead.
It could take. I mean, I've got paintings here that'll take me 2 or 3 days. But I wanted to do something special with them, those paints.
Mhm.
I painted my downtown of my town. I don't know if you've seen some of my photographs of my town, but it's beautiful here. So I actually painted the downtown of my town. Oh, thank you, Lord. And that took me probably 3 or 4 days, which was a long time for me.
Yellow. Tone that down a little bit of purple.
Sometimes it gets dry and more water on. You gotta be careful though, because it can get sloppy looking with the watercolor. You gotta make sure your drips don't drip too far.
Oh, Sheila was saying she got one from Daniel. I think Daniel Bazuski, if I'm not mistaken, or Emerson. I think.
Daniel paints. I didn't know you painted.
Yeah. I think he changed his name to Bazuski or something.
Yeah, he's now Emerson.
Sorry, Emerson.
Turns out that the other name was his stepfather's name, and he wanted to go back to his dad's name.
Gotcha. And we've got another person watching, Patty Ann. Hello. Good to see y'all. And then we've got, oh, you need to start painting again. You started painting, you should totally get back into it. It's a lot of fun.
A lot of peace, too.
I'm guessing these are people you know, because I don't recognize half these names.
I didn't hear that name.
It's
What was
Patty Ann.
Yeah, Patty Ann. Yeah. Is it? What's the last name?
Ann.
Smith. Oh, it's Ann.
Patty is
Franklin.
Ann is the last name. And then we've got Emily Bartney saying good evening. I almost said morning. Good evening, Bart. Good evening, Emily. Good to see you.
I love the way one of my animals looks here, because you can tell he heard something in the distance and he's on the alert. So it's almost like he's an intercessor guarding the other one, actually taking a drink, you know?
Oh, yeah.
That's why I was drawn to this image.
Ooh. It's going to be fun to paint this. I don't think I've ever actually used a reference photo while painting on a broadcast. I think I've always done it just from creativity.
Use the what? What is it you're using?
I don't think I've ever painted on broadcast using a reference photo before. I've always used just my memory or just made something up.
Right.
And this is actually speeding things up a lot.
Using the photo?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm just double clicking the home button on my iPhone
and I actually use reference photos a lot, guys. I mean, my style is always going to be different than the reference.
Same here.
Yeah. And if I take a photo, I might use that, or I love painting animals, and the best way to paint an animal is really to get a picture. And to be honest with you, there's some awesome pictures out there of animals that you can get. There's literally, I mean, I probably have studied 30, 40,000 pictures through time, and mostly through the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's everything that you want is out there. You can get a different day, you know. I mean, I like going into nature and doing that too, but I usually go into nature and feel what the colors are, and then come back home and do them. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I'm actually using two different types of yellow and and some white for the sky.
What kind of yellows are you using?
Oh God.
Oh,
I got one really cool one here that I love. I don't know if you can see this very well. Can we?
nope.
It's right here. Here we go. Here we go. And actually, it has honey in it. This has actually got honey inside of it.
You say honey?
Yeah, it's called a peril, or I don't know the name. Watercolor, but inside it's orange yellow. It's got honey inside of it. So kind of an interesting kind of paint, the way it goes on.
Sorry ahead of time for the clicking. That's I'm thinking it's the Wi-Fi connection.
He's chewing gum.
It's chewing gum. Ooh. And then we've got Allison. I don't even know how to pronounce that name. I'm sorry.
Silver quill?
Irkumia, I think.
Okay, say it again.
Allison Irkumia, Irqumia.
Oh yeah. She's from up north. I think she either Allison, where are you from? Is it Iqaluit or from Alaska? I can't remember.
I thought she's from Canada.
Could be. But I know she's from north. And if I'm saying
Like,
up north, think about that for a minute. Because there's places that are so far from where I am in Canada. And it's freezing up there. Cold. You hear a Canadian complain about the cold. It must be really cold. You know what I mean?
Sheila Calgill said, I started painting by watching Jared. It has brought peace into my life, and I'm glad I started.
Who said that?
Sheila Calgill. I've got it brought up.
She started painting how?
She said she started watching me paint. And
Okay.
Started painting because of that, or painted again because of that.
Cool.
If I'm not mistaken, she showed me a picture of a dog she did at one point, and I was like, "That's really, really good. You should paint still."
Oh yeah, definitely. Get at it. That's one thing about art. I mean, you can do it at any point in your life. Just do it. Go back to it, look at it again. I've been painting nonstop now, probably for 16 years. You'll always have people try to tell you to paint. I don't listen to them. Unless I really like what they're doing, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to change what I do. I go with, I met a famous Canadian artist the other day. Bought one of his paintings, actually. Couldn't believe I did it. Thank you, Lord.
Wasn't it the guy?
His name is Gordon Harrison. And he said that the artist is always evolving. And I like that as a thought because you don't really stay the same. You're always shifting. You're always changing. There's always a new thing you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I like paint. I do not like other forms of art. I love paint. I could eat it. I could drink it. I just love paint. But I ain't putting no rocks in my painting. I'm not going to put no magazine pictures in my paintings. I just use paint. Paint. I love paint. But other people are different.
Not fair. Okay, we got Allison said she's from, I don't even know how to pronounce this.
Say it. Where? Just spell it.
I'll let you read it because I can't pronounce that.
Spell it out.
Can you see that?
I got my eyes. I can't see it. because of the light.
Okay, it's PUV.
Northern Quebec. She's from. Are you Cree? Are you? Yeah, you're Cree, aren't you? I think that's what. I can't pronounce it. I'm sorry. Well, I love that. I love that. You everywhere you go, you get names where you can't pronounce. But thank you, Lord.
Mhm.
Can you guys see that? Can you see that?
I saw that and took one glance and I was like, nope. Just nope.
I think she's Cree.
What is what does that mean? Like,
First Nation, or what you guys call Native American,
oh, okay, that's awesome.
but we call it First Nation.
Fur Nation.
First
First.
Peoples.
Who the Inuit took. Okay. She says she's Inuit.
Okay. Does she live near Labrador? Do you live near Labrador?
Question.
I grew up in Labrador. I know certain. I think she's probably a long way from it. Man, I'm loving this painting. I'm loving it.
Let's get a couple clouds.
I do. I love my paintings. Sometimes I don't, but I'll put them to the side and then go back and look at them, and then I usually change my tune because I didn't like them again.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just need to put it away for a while. Come back.
That is true. I've had a few paintings like that. She says she's from way northern Quebec, or Quebec. I think that's how you pronounced it.
Yeah.
Way north.
Up by Hudson Bay.
Mm-hmm. Good, the darker colors in there.
I like Allison. She's been pretty faithful to the broadcast.
She's really cool. She's sent me a whole bunch of pictures of like northern lights and stuff. And
oh, I love the Northern Lights.
I've only painted them one time and I failed miserably.
I painted them when I first started. I used to paint a lot of Northern Lights. I don't anymore. I'd rather see them.
I've never seen them before. I've never gone
Oh
out to the
man,
States yet.
they're gorgeous. You must see them all the time, do you, Allison? I kind of want to go to Norway in the winter.
Norway sounds like fun, to be totally honest. A friend of mine. Here, I've actually got painting on hand somewhere over here. Here it is. So, a friend of mine is actually living in Norway, and she sent me, takes pictures of birds from Norway.
What's her name?
Her name is Jennifer.
Okay.
Jennifer.
There's a lot of people that come on the broadcast for all the people, and they're from Norway. A lot of people from Norway, a lot of people from Sweden, Denmark. We get a lot of people from those places, Germany.
She's actually from the States. I'm not sure where, but she's from the United States. But she's just living there right now. And she took a picture of a magpie, and I just whipped out a magpie. And I'm just going to show this off real quick. It's kind of a quick version, but it was kind of hard to see.
You know, I love your paintings.
Say again?
I said, I love your paints.
I appreciate that. There's that one painting that you said that was that took you 14 or 20 years to learn to paint.
There's many paintings like that for me, but
It's
they're
the
actually
one that you wouldn't part with.
Oh, that one over there. Look behind me.
Yep, it's that one.
Yeah,
That's my favorite.
I would part with it, but I mean, it's one of those that people would pay for. You know what I mean? It's
Oh yeah.
oh, woo! Oh, I've done a few more like that recently.
Really? I would like to see those here soon.
I've done a lot of water scenes this year. I love water. I mean, I'm always by the water. We live near the most beautiful rivers, you know what I mean? So I'm constantly painting nature and the things that I see around me. And really, you should paint what you're inspired to paint. It's like anything, just create what there's always an audience for what you're inspired to do. And that's what I learned. It's
I
like,
live right next to the beach, and I love painting.
yeah, I mean, see, that's what I mean. Like, I painted a beach scene the other day.
I saw it, and I like that. That caught my attention. I was like, I want
it. I want it to be there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. One of these days, when you come down to Florida, you should drop by where I am at, over in Panama City.
I was actually thinking about going to Florida next month, but
Sure.
It's kind of odd time, but we'll see.
It's a little cold. Well, actually, it's warm.
Cold for you.
It's cold for me.
Canadian to be out in the water swimming.
Okay, we've got Darren. I'm going to catch up on the comments. I am using a palette knife, Allison. Thank you.
I used to use a palette knife a lot at one time, but now I just like brushes.
We've got Tammy L. Crockett. I'm guessing that's a friend of yours. She says she's been drawing lately, or drawing today. And then a couple of people are saying, actually, Sheila says that her, I think it's her animal shelter, is called Northern Lights Animal Rescue.
Oh, yeah. Where does she live?
Yeah. Northern Lights Animal Rescue. Whoops.
Where do you live, Sheila?
Sheila lives in Tennessee. I'm not sure what part.
I love Tennessee.
I've driven through there a couple times. Never actually gotten to stop and enjoy it.
I'm just taking more time because let me see yours. What do you got done? Is that a sky? Sky's done.
Yeah, here. I'm going to pull it up real close.
Yeah, I love his skies are amazing.
Skies are one of my favorite things to paint, too. Am I sideways? I am sideways.
You know, I got inspired to paint watercolors because I never used to like watercolor when I was young. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because most people who paint watercolors, they're doing like houses or flowers or something like that, I just didn't see any masculinity, I guess, in the art. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I like strong art. And I was actually, first got saved, asked to go and take care of a man who was dying's house. And he was like a very eccentric guy. He was a brilliant man. He was an economist. He was a professional what I would call professional taught watercolor artists.
Ooh.
And I went in his basement and saw the tools that he used to do his work, and I saw his paintings, and they were so incredible that I fell in love with watercolor because of that man. He was a Quebec artist, so I never started until this year, but that experience of being in his house was about 16, let's say 15 years ago, and it took me that long to do it, to get into it. I'll show you my paint after I'm done, guys. I'm getting close. I started thinking in the beginning that my dominance would be yellow and like a bluish kind of thing, but it began to make more sense to bring the purple in because purple and yellow are really good together. So I started going back over even my animals and started adding like the shadow color of purple to them because it made more sense to keep it in a green or a blue, even a brown. I was going to make the brown in the beginning, and that's the way it is. You got to go with what you feel.
Oh yeah.
And I heard a guy the other day say, get a vision for what you're going to do, but don't hold the vision tight because you'll never accomplish exactly what you see in your vision. But hold the vision loosely in your art because it'll never look like you think it's going to look like when it's done. And that has to be okay. And that's why it took me 17 or 16, 17 or 20 years to paint that painting that he talked about because I would get closer to it every time I tried. And then one day you do it and you go, that is what I want. But it could take 40, 50 paintings for you to get to that place that you envisioned in your heart. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh. Yes. Okay, we've got Allison saying you're super fast. And
yes.
we've got Sheila saying both paintings are looking awesome. And then Jennifer said sky is looking great. Jared and the elk looks really great on Jared's painting. Oh shoot!
Can you guys see that?
I can see that.
Wasn't sure you guys could see. I'm loving the contrast of the colors that's going on in this painting. It's I don't usually use these colors so aggressively, so it's kind of interesting to watch them come together.
I'm kind of mixing in browns right now with my pinks, just to create little spots of light. Actually,
I personally love
and
pink.
Purples. And that creates the light.
It's kind of funny sometimes when you paint an animal. Me anyway, I can't tell if their butt is facing the camera or if their butt is like going out because the way you do the legs, it messes you up. So sometimes it looks like they're facing one way when you look at it, and the time you'll look at it, it looks like they're facing the other way.
Oh yeah.
Keep them guessing, keep them guessing. I remember one time I painted some kind of animal and somebody came and said, Darren, I love that. And they called it some kind of other animal than what I actually painted. And they bought it. So I never really told them any different. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, that's
I've had that happen a couple times.
Yeah, let the guy. This is what I learned was that the person who owns the painting is more important than the artist sometimes. You know what I mean? Because they're the ones who have to own it. So if they want to think that's a pig, go right ahead. You know what I mean?
Okay, so we've got Leia saying, wow, what an awesome word, because I get frustrated with that. What is it that
Well, you'll never paint if you get frustrated. And that's why some of you out there got unfinished paintings in your house because you actually held the vision too tightly. And you have a bit of a perfectionist inside of you. I am not a perfectionist at all when it comes to art. My perfection, if anything in art, is just to try to get some kind of color balance and that the colors at least have some kind of perfection. But other than that, shape, form, and all that, I couldn't care less. I'm done this. This is actually looks like around here, to be honest with you, now that I do it. Wow. As soon as I'm going to sign it, you'll see. When I sign it, I'm close to done.
Ooh. Are you going to whip out another one or something?
I don't know.
Probably not.
It's kind of hard with these. Because you're not close to done, right?
I'm going to try my best to finish up.
A little more detail. I'll just add a few more, like, stuff on around the tree to make it more.
There we go. I should just grab your brush whenever I'm painting with you around.
What's that?
I said I should just grab a bigger brush whenever I'm painting with you around.
You just can finish it later, man. You don't have to feel that way.
I kind of want to finish it though, but I'm not going to have time more than likely. That's pretty good though.
Great thing about watercolor, if you make a mistake, you can just go in and just take a paper towel, rub it right off.
That is pretty nice and convenient. There we go. That's nice and purple. Now for the foreground, which I'm going to be able to whip out pretty quick. Okay, so I was way too critical. Okay, so Sheila says she was way too critical with her art. She learned it is what God wants to be, or what God wants it to be, where no one would like them.
That's key to keep that in mind. That really, when we're painting, it's the Holy Spirit is very much involved in what we're doing.
100%.
And if you can keep that in mind, and it's always good to improve. Study to show yourself improve, and always want to have the desire to become better. And we can always be better artists. That's the thing. And then do that, but in every phase of your artistic expression, there's going to be an audience for that expression. So the better you get, there'll be people, but even when you're a beginner, there'll be people that will love your art. So just keep that in mind, that somebody's always going to like it, and somebody is always going to criticize it. It doesn't matter. I had somebody one time said to me, I'm a real artist. And I knew what they meant. They meant I wasn't a real artist. Even though I had painted like 1,800 paintings, they didn't think I was a real artist. And I said, well, how many paintings have you sold? And they hardly sold any. But in their mind, what happens is they get this idea of what art is and what art isn't. And so a lot of the times they have family members who were artists and they painted in a certain way. And they get to thinking that that's the only way you can paint. And therefore anything outside of that is not really art. And that will limit you. You have to realize, even if you do paint similar to the ones that taught you, you will always have a uniqueness that you have to allow to come forth. Because really, the uniqueness is what will make you remembered.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. So I've got to get the purples, darker purples in. The foreground. We'll do that right here. Just kind of do some far away shades and such.
We need to do this again sooner than later.
Oh, yeah. I'm 100% down. I've been kind of slammed with personal stuff, as you know.
Yeah.
But that's actually resolving itself pretty quickly. Thank God.
I'm almost done. I'm just putting some finishing things that I want to see in here. And unfortunately, where is the white is the paint that I use the most. And I cannot for the life of me see any white paint left on this at all. Where did I even? Oh, there.
Start filling, blocking it in real quickly.
Yeah, I'm signed. Here we go. And I changed my signature this year. Did you know that?
I'd like to see it. I did notice there was you shortened it a lot. You did like CA or CN.
I used to print it, and now I decided to do it a little differently, just like a signature, like a doctor kind of squiggly kind of thing. And I had somebody get upset, but that's okay, because they'll know that I did it two different ways.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
I am done and I'm happy, so I'm going to show you. There we go. And you get the feeling of the time and day. I love that. Whew. And there's my signature.
That's fancy. It almost looks like it's kanji or Korean or even Arabic. I like it. We've got Leia says you guys make it look easy. And Allison there, elk.
After so many, it is easy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And what I do, if you guys notice, is I actually learned to, when you're doing paper, use masking tape to put it down on the desk and tape it, so because it'll go all over the place. But when you take the masking tape off, look at the nice looking white border you got on the painting. It looks awesome.
Here we go.
Take that off.
I like it.
You got to be careful though, because you can tear it. So take your time doing it. One thing I love about watercolor is that it has a mind of its own. And you get these crazy looking watermarks in your paintings.
Yeah.
And I love that about the watercolor. It's like all of a sudden you see this crazy water mark on your paper, and it like you didn't mean to put it there, but it made the painting. That's it.
Okay. So I'm going to try to make a little bit of green for some trees.
Just sweet.
Far branch. Just whip those out real quickly. And then I'll paint in the elk. And then I think I'll call it done. Or not really done, but
I actually painted an animal like it the other day. I did this one.
Oh yeah.
As a prayer.
I thought that was an elk when you painted it.
I think it is. I think it is. And there's my camels I did today. So this is my third painting today. And I did this baby owl. I love this little baby owl.
Fluffy. Super, super fluffy.
And we want to see how crazy it is. Look at this. This is my desk. Look at all these paintings. I don't know if you can see this, but look. You see all these paintings in here? There's literally 50, 60 paintings in this one. These are all watercolor that I've done over the last couple months, or let's say since July. And look at this drawer. Here's another one filled with literally probably 150 paintings in that drawer. Once I hit the roads and I start preaching in different places, I'll pull all those paintings with me and we'll sell them on the road. That's the goal. I actually have about 150 paintings in the basement as well. Every wall in the house has paintings on it. So it's an addiction. It's actually an addiction for me.
Here we go. So for those of y'all who are watching, I'm just trying to scrub in a little bit of white. Like I've already colored, like I've covered most of this actually with white. So all I'm doing is I'm just taking some of that color that I've got right back here and creating a little bit of foresty area, like over right next to the riverbank. This is all empty. I'm going to reflect the sky here afterwards. But the way to create snow, here's just a fun tip for anybody who is using oils. And I'm going to try to get y'all close so that I can show y'all the better way. Or the easiest way, it's an alla prima technique. So it's basically you prime it with white paint, or you can use white paint and like paint thinner. But you take whatever color you're using right up here, and you just kind of drag it out, and you create little bits of shadow in the snow.
If you guys want to learn how to paint skies, you got to hang out with this guy. He does an incredible job with that. You see how he uses his brush? He's just jamming that stuff in. I'm talking. See, you're jamming that stuff in.
Oh yeah, I'm speaking. We are not concerned about technique at this point. I am just mashing. And you can leave little bits of white in between to create nice depth. And then you can further to get more paint.
I'm just gonna say I love my painting. I don't like it. I love it. I love it. Here's one of my moose. See my moose paintings behind me? They're massive too.
My favorite thing about your paintings is your color choices every single time. Like the shapes kind of throw me for a loop sometimes, but every time I see your colors, I'm like, yes.
Yeah, I know everybody says that. I don't care what people think. See, it's not about the shape; it's about the color.
The colors, I love them. Here we go.
You know, when people say stuff like that, I tell them, "Go. You should look at Marc Chagall, who was a famous artist, and look at his shapes. You will think he was a child painting, and yet his paintings are coveted in all the museums across Europe. Marc Chagall.
Marc Chagall. You're gonna have to shoot me a message on that one. I'd love to take a look at him.
I've studied so many things. What you're seeing in mind about shapes and stuff is what comes out of the kind of art that I've studied. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I always get a kick out of it.
Okay, so
you got two of my paintings, Leah. Remind me of which ones you have.
Say again?
Leah says she has two of my paintings. I sold so many paintings, I forget. You know what I mean? I think it must have been this year, though, so probably they're watercolor that you have. Where is your animal?
It's going to be right here. I'm gonna paint in the. Actually, I'm gonna paint in the river here first. I'm gonna try to do this ASAP. I'm gonna do phthalo blue, crimson, which is going to be more towards the brown side, and then a lot of yellow, so I can make a very nice darker color right here on the water.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably gonna look black at first. Oh, that looks really black. That's so cool. And we'll just have it kind of just going further back and just like that.
Oh,
This is where this white paint is kind of getting muddy and mixing in.
so you live in Dryden. Okay, that was a while ago
Here
then.
we go.
Sunflowers in the vase. I love sunflowers. I paint sunflowers all the time. I love them. I've got some sunflower paintings here. They're absolutely amazing. And I don't remember. I've painted about 30 or 40 wine bottles and glasses through the years. I learned those when I went to Australia. First, when I got to Adelaide, I went into a restaurant and there were paintings like that on the wall. And what I do is when I go into a region, I look at what they're putting up inside of restaurants and things like that. And then I begin to duplicate that art because obviously that's the art that's coveted in that region. It always works. When I went to Texas, I started painting funny looking cows. And they got sucked up. I mean, they love those down in Texas because everywhere you go, there's a painting of a funny looking cow. So if you're wanting to sell art, that's one of the things that you should be aware of is trying to emulate, if you will, or look at the artists and what they're doing and do your own thing, but put your own spin on it. You got to put your own unique spin on what's already being done, you know?
Here we go.
Emily Carr, I loved her paintings. She was from British Columbia out in Western Canada. Incredible artist, yeah.
I'd love to see her work.
Yeah, just Google it. She's all over. Group of
Oh, really?
Seven. The Group of Seven is that painting over there. That's why I did that.
It's that skyish colors kind of mixing in, reflecting off of the snow. That's a little bit much, but there we go. Here's where we got the. I'm cheating now. I'm using that alla prima technique with the snow, creating my little banks. Then I'll take a little bit of purple, get in the shadows. Right here. I think Darren is offset for a second. All right, so I'm just gonna paint in a nice little elf. So where'd you go, man?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. You kind of disappeared for a second. Here we go. So I'm just gonna paint in that elk just so we can say I did that.
I can't hear you anymore.
You can't hear me?
That's what.
Can you hear me now? How about now? Hey Darren, let's try I'm gonna go ahead and remove him from the stream real quick. Let's see.
I can hear you.
You can hear me now.
My headphones died.
Oh, okay.
Leah says she feels so drawn to draw her dreams. I do, but you know what I often think about when I'm dreaming about painting is that's an impartation from heaven to paint. And so I don't feel obligated to paint what I see. I just believe that that dream is to help me to paint different in the season ahead. I'm not going to stay too much longer, guys. I'm going to bow out, but you need to continue on with your painting and let him watch you.
Mine
It's been
kind of looks like a little bit of a grizzly bear. I'm not a fan.
Well, put a grizzly bear in there then.
I think I am. It's turning into more of like a dog or a grizzly bear or a wolf or something. So I might just go with that. go. Just a little impressionistic work.
I liked Emily Carson a lot. She had a lot of line, pretty strong. I like Tom Thompson. That was my artist for
Hey, Darren, you're kind of going back into the
okay.
what is it called? The scratchy mode.
Well, I tell you what, I'm gonna end the broadcast soon. You keep painting and show me what you did.
There we go. We did a bear instead of a deer or an elk. There we go. So Darren had to dip out for the day. Hope y'all enjoyed that. I will probably be having him on another time sometime soon. If y'all want to stick on, y'all are more than welcome to stay on and watch. I'm just going to finish up this whole thing. I'm going to add a tree right here in the foreground, one right here. I've already got most of the painting covered. So at this point, it's just a matter of let's finish it up. Okay. So what is it that I'm just actually going to let y'all go a little bit of let y'all get a little bit of creative freedom on this. What would y'all like to see? You can name one thing, and you got to agree with it with each other in the comments. Like we'll say another animal, other than the one that's like smack dab in the middle. What would y'all like to see? Okay, so we got dark. Go. So here we go. So I'm just going to start adding a couple bits of orange here in the snow. And then right back here, I'm going to start adding a little bit of that kind of pinkish that you see in the sky. So I'm just going to take the brush and start kind of blending it a little bit together. Because we've got a lot of white already on the canvas, it just makes it easier. Don't have to do it too much. And one of the drawbacks of using this technique is there's a lot of white paint on there. So you're going to have to use a little bit of the color you want and then just kind of like scrub it. I mean, almost scrub it back. There we go. And then wherever you want shadows, just take a little bit of we'll say the purple brush. Go into that purple and mix. I'm going to start working from like the closer and back, just because with the purples, you got your strongest colors up at the front. and then it gradually gets lighter and lighter and lighter. So you can just take some of that and just kind of push it back. And then wherever you want those highlights, come back with your orange. Or you can even do a little bit of yellow. Either way works. I'm doing orange and pink strictly because of what's in the sky already. And yellow. Matter of fact, let's get some more yellow. You can even do a little bit of brown and just use it right over the white. And it turns into a nice little shade of snow. All right, I'm gonna call it. If I've actually got something I have to take care of, but I can, if y'all want, I can finish this and do this on the next broadcast. If y'all don't want, then I'll just finish this on my own. Just let me know in the comments down below. Y'all have about like, I'll give y'all 2 minutes to decide. Just let me know what you want to see. Either I can stick around and paint this the next time, which will be probably next Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, because I should be free then. And if not, then I can do a completely different painting the next time. Let me know what y'all want us to do. So the photo that I'm referencing has a lot of pink in the snow. So I'm gonna start taking a little bit of that kind of brighter pink color that I have, and mixing it with this kind of purplish thing, this purplish color that I've got right here. Just start kind of throwing it into the snow, and then you can add blue or a dark purple into the shadows if you want to. It makes it easiest if you just have multiple brushes going on at once. Here we go, and we'll just make it nice and light. Thanks, Emily. And okay, so we've got one who would like to see me finish it the next time. Okay. You know, I actually may finish this right now. I've got like 3 minutes that I'll still work on it. I'm going to grab a little bit of that pinkish color that I was using earlier. Throw it right here. Get some blue, mix that in, make a little bit of a darker purple. That'll go well with the cloud. So wherever you want to have like little snowbanks, just keep your darker colors right there. So I'm just grabbing phthalo blue and crimson together. Mostly phthalo blue because you want it to be, actually, it's mostly, yeah, phthalo blue because of the shadows, but you keep them pretty close together. Here we go. Let's try this again. Because we're going to have a tree right here poking up. So I'm going to keep the shadows nice and dark. and then just kind of blend it outwards. See how it kind of goes naturally. You can kind of take them to the side a little bit if you want, and get that pinkish brush right out. All right, I'm going to grab a lot more of that yellow so we can make it stand out. There. All right. So I know someone was asking for the palette knife treatment, so I'm just going to whip the palette knife out and put a tree right here, then put one right here, and I think we'll be calling her good. Then we'll get some yellow and mixed with that. Try to keep this mostly blue. Get a little bit of this white over here. Okay, so it's really purple. All right, we have a lot of paint. So this is going to be our foreground tree. Or have a few of them. I'm going to be extra careful that I don't make it too purple. I'm going to try to keep it real thick. There, we got a really big one. Yeah, I guess we could have one just for added interest. We could have a couple of them just like lining the edges right over here. Maybe a little path. And I'm going to drag this here to create some nice little snowy effects. And I'm actually going to go back, clean off my knife, get in some yellow, and go over that so we can create a, yes, happy little tree. No, so we can create some sunlight almost. Actually, I'm going to get a little bit of yellow and red, so we'll make an orange. We want it mostly towards the yellow side, so I'm going to be very careful. There we go. There we go. And maybe a little bit more yellow. So I'm just going to show you what I'm doing on my palette. You got to be very careful with crimson because it's a very invasive color, very strong, very powerful. So whenever you're working with it, just be aware it likes to dominate the foreground. And we'll do some white and yellow up here. Here we go. And we'll just tap it, grab, pull, pull, grab. Just like that. Here we go. That's a little bit too bright. So whenever you get too much brightness on the color, just add a little bit of white. Or sorry, not too bright, too strong, just add a little bit of white. Or in my case, you can actually just grab and just keep scrubbing it in. Strictly because there's a lot of white on that canvas already. Here we go. I'm just going to go back over it. There. Let's get some more yellow. So I do not recommend having your palette as messy as mine is, but I'm trying to paint fast so that y'all can actually see the end of this. I changed my mind. I would like y'all to just see this, see how it finishes and stuff. So we've got a little bit of that yellow there. Let's get some orange. And I mean some really, really nice looking orange with a lot of red. There we go. This is almost like an Indian yellow that I've kind of mixed together just now. And we really want that color in the foreground. So I'm just going to take it and move it right here. If I can. If I can mix it. Here we go. And now the easy part. I'm just going to take one of my brushes and start dragging it and playing with it around right over here. Kind of blend it away. There. And then if you want to see some little bits of grass and stuff, I'm actually going to grab some of this darker color. Grab a little bit of this yellow, make a nice brown, maybe snake into some of this Indian yellow. And we're going to start kind of just poking it, little bits of grass here and there. just let it pop out of the snow. I'm just taking it at an angle and just kind of pushing it down. Being very gentle, and just letting it fall. And right here, I'm just going to be a lot rougher with it. Just kind of really cake it on there. Then I'm going to go back and reload with that darker color. And a lot more yellow. Here we go. This is what I think personally makes a painting, is having lots of grass sticking up from the snow. Okay. Gonna let that stay there for a little bit. Gonna paint in another tree right over here. Actually, I'm gonna add a little bit. I'm gonna take that same color that I just mixed, that's kind of brown, make a little highlight over here. Here we go. I like that. Take it and let it mix in there just a little bit. There. It doesn't have to stand out super much, like a huge amount, and you can actually take it and kind of smooth it out if you want with your palette knife. Let it become a whole nother color and a branch. That's the cool thing about using palette knives and just painting in general. There's so much you can do with it. Right here. We'll do it just like that. Here we go. I'm going to kind of bring out some of that purple. I want some more orange in there, so we're going to get a lot of yellow. Mix that in with that brownish color. Oh, that's so orangey. Here we go. So just going to kind of muddy that up and play with that and throw this right over the top of these guys right here. Yeah, we can play with that. Here we go. This tree has no leaves. Do y'all want to see leaves on this one? I was going to leave it bare because I kind of figured a lot of these trees just kind of, at least in this area, other than the ones that are real far away, like right over this area, I figured this one would be kind of like bare. I like bare trees, so you can see the textures. And then the shadows, I'm going to add a lot of light blue. So this light blue that I've got on my tree, actually, so this kind of blue that we've got right up here in the sky, that's what I'm going to be doing. Okay, let's try it out. See how she looks. And we just need to just put it at the tips. just like that. Thanks, Jennifer. Let's see if we've got the reference photo. Okay, so it doesn't really show any shadows when it's not far away. That is quite all right. Okay, now for the last tree. For the last one, we're just going to add in this one right here. Actually, it's not really much of a tree. It's more like a shrub. But we can just perk it up just like that. And I'm just mixing a nice brown together. So there's some yellow, a lot of crimson, and a lot of phthalo blue. And you just mix it all. I'm actually going to take a look at this photo. Okay, so this one's tiny, tiny, tiny. But there's a bunch of snow on it. So we're going to do just like this. It was kind of an evergreen tree, so we're gonna try to play along with that. Here. Y'all ever have those moments where you're trying to get a certain color mixed on your palette and all of a sudden the color is just stuck to this big glop and you can't get it out? That's what I'm having to deal with right now. More towards the blue side. Much more towards blue. And here we go. So all I'm doing is, yeah. So all I'm doing right now is getting all the darker colors on right here first before I get on to any of the highlights. And I'm just going to make it really, really thick so that I can just plop on the highlights really easily. And here we go. Gotta just blend a little bit of it together. And now it's time to get a lot of yellows and oranges and such. Now I'm just taking that color that oh my goodness, that was scary. I'm taking that color that I mixed earlier and I'm adding a lot of yellow to it. So we can create a nice brownish hue that we can add on the trip or like on the trunk. It's almost a green, honestly, so I need a little bit more red. I might be able to take that, but here we go. Nope, that's much better. Now we've got, that's way too much. Now this is actually one of my favorite parts is highlighting tips of these trees, like these trunks and such. I'm actually going to take the smaller point, mix a little bit of white in there, maybe get some more of this yellow and orange over here. I love, love, love this. Just adding little warm highlights to these trees, these little trunks. Here we go. We'll put a little bit of it right here. And boom. We'll have the rest of the trunk just kind of sitting there, absorbing the light. Like an awesome little tree. And we will eventually come back and hit that with even more light, which is the fun part. Multiple layers of highlights makes the painting look really good. Just add a lot more white to it and you can do that really easily. Okay, here we go. Here's a prime example. And if you ever get that purple in your palette knife, it's real easy to fix. Just wipe it off. And then touch it, touch it, touch it. Just touch the edge. You don't have to do all of it. You can just do little bits. And maybe some oranges. And we're golden. Now for some snow. We're going to have purple on this side, purple and white on this side, with a little bit of pinkish. So Actually, we can just take a pink and just mix it in with this, and that would actually probably do it. Yep, there we go. We're gonna have a pink snow. Kind of play around with those little branches as well. Eventually I will come over the tops of these, so these little empty spaces, leave them so that you can have extra white, like extra yellows that you can put in between, and that'll be your highlights. Right now I'm just using my empty spaces over here to kind of take that pinkish color that I already mixed for this snow right here and make little bits of shadowy snow. And it looks really nice because it actually turns out to be almost like purple. Actually, it is a purple, but the pink mixed with this real dark color back behind it makes it a purple. And just little touches because you got it at the edge of your knife. Here we I'm just going to kind of cover this area right here, make it a little bit darker. So you can't see completely through it, but I'll leave little holes as well, just like right there. So you can see through it because most of these trees, these evergreens, you can see straight through them. But I'm going to leave little areas that you can see through these. I'm going to take some of that phthalo blue, mix that into the mix. So we can have multiple different colors, really nice, cool colors. There we go. Looks really nice. Here we go. I'm just taking phthalo blue and white and mixing in some little snow bits right over the tops. So who's still painting? Is anybody still painting along with us? Okay, let's change up this a little bit. We'll take this and just kind of drag in a little bit of shadowy color there. Drag it downhill. Yep, there we go. And we'll take a little bit of this off of the brush, off of the knife. Here we go. Okay, let's get that white. Let's get that yellow. We've got the Indian yellow color that we've got right here. That's what we're going to put smack dab on the center. We're going to cover it with little snow bits, with thick batches of paint. So be very generous. Oh, you can actually take it and drag it on the side too. I love this. I'd have to say, what would y'all's favorite color be? I am not painting now, but watching. So I'm gonna have to say my favorite colors right now are quickly turning to these yellows. What are y'all's favorite colors? There we go. Purple. I love purple. Yellows and pinks. Yellows and pinks are phenomenal for painting. I do like purple. That's probably my favorite color to wear. That and brown. Actually, nah, I think purple. Purple is the color of royalty in the Bible, from what I remember. I'm not a huge Bible scholar, but I have read through it maybe once or twice. And that is one of my favorite colors from the Bible. It's purple. Okay, let's get some white and brown and mix it in with this Indian yellow mixture that I got here. We'll get even brighter with that snow. Then we'll add it to the base and just actually looks a lot brighter against those dull colors. Let's actually catch a little bit of that color through here, just to say that we've got a couple spots where it looks like you're seeing the snow. Get some of that orange. There. And here. I think that'd be almost it. I suppose we could add some more branches or leaves over here. On your painting, all of them, they are flowing. What? Yeah, it does look like that. Ooh, you know what? I'm going to actually take some more of that dark purple and we're going to add it to the base. If I can mix it without taking too much of this blue. Here we go. What is it looking like? More towards the purple, the red side, or excuse me, the blue side. We want the red side. Here we go. So let's just kind of take this, just kind of drag out a little bit of this. Nope. Aha. Here we go. All right. So I'm intentionally kind of just blending, actually taking that color that I've already mixed and kind of pulling it back. Just making little changes here and there. I'm going to, here we go. I'm going to leave nice little dark spots in between. And then I'm also going to take some of this brown that I've mixed here. And I'm going to see what happens when we mix a little bit of that into the mixture. And then add it right here. Maybe have a little bit of a dark path. Here. And then I'll take a brush and I'm going to start messing with it. Boom. I could just kind of take it like little strands of grass. Oh, you know what's better for grass? Fan brushes. Take the corners and just flick it up. Real quickly, just like that. And you can kind of create your own little hills with it, just like this too. You can kind of mess with it. And it's actually better if you have a real dark, like a real nice dark amount of paint, or bleh, words, real nice amount of dark paint on your brush, so you can flick it up just like this. And then you can play with your hills and really define them like that. And you can make the real small hills just like this. You can kind of fool around with that too, if you want. There. Just tap. I'm gonna try to get this brush out of the way. I don't want to actually have to deal with that later. Ooh, what if I took some of that medium, like Indian yellow, with a nice clean fan brush? Yes, ideas popping in my head. Here we go. So now we're going to take that same strand and we're going to add some yellows and whites mix those right here. And we'll see what happens now. This is probably one of your favorite paintings by me. Wonder why that is. Is it because you've actually gotten to see it worked all the way through? These are pretty fun to work with whenever you're working them all the way through. And let's get some real tall grass. And some little bitty slits here and there. Get some moss. Go back into that darker color and really work it in and get some of that moss. This is probably one of the few snow paintings that I've done. Actually, I think I've done a total of maybe 3 to 4 of them. I have not done very many, to be totally honest. I've done very, very few. I'm very, very gentle on the grass that's farthest away. And then I'm kind of take these shadows and just put them, kind of blend them out with the white. There. Oh, hey, we could add some leaves to this guy. I'm intentionally leaving in some blank spots, but I'm going to try my best to kind of make it nice and dark with browns over here, and using the corner of my brush, kind of forming little leaves or little branches and such. Here we go. Hey, Melinda. Thanks for jumping in. Here. I'm going to try to cover this really well right here. We're going to have this guy have a little stray branch right up there. And he'll have some right here. Some little leaves. But for the most part, I want this kind of covering up what is all back there. Oops. All right. Here we go. So we'll just cover the backs of these with a little bit of those darker colors. Kind of mix it up. And I think we can actually leave a little bit of snow on the top of this guy too. But it's not going to be as obvious. So I'm going to go into this kind of nice orangey color, and we're just going to touch the tips of him with a little bit of that nice orange color. We can even grab some pink. Why not? I'm going to do it with the other brush though. That way, I'm not mixing in too much of that brown. We want it to be bright. Boom. Touch at the top. I think I'm going to need a little bit more yellow. Let's get some yellow. So whenever you're trying to put on snow at the top of these guys, it's best to get a color that's kind of not blending in with the background. And I'm trying to keep it a bright color, but at the same time, you know, keep it to where it doesn't blend in with the background. You don't want it to blend in with the background. So I'm trying to add as much pure yellow as I can without it looking almost fake. There. And the good thing about this, we have a nice side light. Coming in from the right hand side, so we can really emphasize that those leaves right there. Using almost an Indian yellow type of color. That's all we're doing. Just going back, getting white whenever I'm running out of texture, and just touching it. Just like that. Just around these little dark spots. And then whenever you've got enough space, you can kind of work around it and start shaping the tree how you want it. Right now, I'm just trying to be very cognizant of how I'm shaping it. So, for example, I've got a lot of highlights, and I'm trying not to overdo it. Here we go. Let's get some in here. I want this one to be at the foreground. And be sure to be very cognizant. Goodness, I'm using that word a lot. Be sure to be cognizant of how much of this kind of white paint that you're using, because it kind of muddies really quickly. You don't want it to muddy up too much. Control the mud. Don't let it rule your painting. Here we go. Let's just kind of touch the tips right here. And then we'll kind of grab and pull at these ones. Just let it blend out. There. And then we're going to make it really, really bright right here. And because of all the purple that's in the background, it kind of naturally blends away. So you can always go back and just dip into your Indian yellow or brown, I should say. It's more of a brown now. And put it away. Here, let's get some little bits of highlights right here. Just work around this tree so we can kind of push that branch back. Oh, it's a little bit too much on the brown. There. Some more white. We'll just get a little bit of green back here. Oh, hello. Let's cover you up with a little bit of that. There. We'll have a little stray branch dip it down. And get some yellow. And I think this is the final touch. There we go. I'm actually gonna clean this up, all my stuff up later, but I want to show y'all what the finished results are. I know I took a long time on this. I don't know how much time's passed. Oh, 2 hours. That's not bad. That's actually really fast. That's super, super, super fast for me. Alrighty. I'm gonna put my palette in a safe place. So let's see real quick. I'm gonna try to flip this camera around real quick so I can show y'all what I'm looking at. All right. Ooh, look, a couple of my paintings. So I'm just gonna get y'all up close just to see what I've done. We've got some mountains in the background with some trees further back, coming closer. You got your little forest that's encroaching. The river was pushing back that way. And then right here we got some of the forest that's just across the river. Here's the river with the little bear. I actually want to kind of go back and throw in some orange into that, but it would kind of take away from the river. Then there's the little bear. Here's your tree. All the bits of yellows and stuff. And the browns. I actually added some blues right behind here, believe it or not, so that we could change it up, because a lot of the colors in this time of day is going to be cooler in the shadows, and the darkest darks are going to be closest. So that point and then this point. That's not my best tree, but it's my first palette knife tree that's evergreen with a bunch of snow on it. So it was a kind of squatty one in the reference, so that's about what it looks like. Then you've got all your little fine details of grass just by using your fan brush. Take a gander. Here, I'll show y'all a little bit closer. It actually doesn't look amazing when you're up close. It actually looks a lot better when you're further away. Because you see all the big glops of paint that's on this thing. Then as you zoom out, it just looks much, much better. Not bad for 2 hours. Okay, let's flip this sucker around. Let's get the front. Alrighty. That's always... I thought there was something on my face. Well, if you're not wearing it, you're doing it wrong. Well, this is the painting for today. I'm actually going to sign it right now. We're going to do it with a palette knife. I'm going to grab this dark paint, and I'm going to scrape it in right here. Actually, we'll just do red. Scrape it in with red so it comes out pink. That did not work out as I thought it was going to work. So we'll put it right. Yeah, we'll do it right here. If somebody later looks and they're like, "Oh, that's not a Jared Schoenfeld painting," I'll come back and I'll be like, "That was my crappy handwriting. I know it best." And yes, I make a lot of faces. Thank you, Sheila. Paint on the face. I should not paint my face. Oh. Alrighty. So the next time, I'm not sure what we're going to paint, but I'm going to try to have Lucas or Darren or someone else on. I'm going to try to get y'all with one of my friends who's over in Texas. She's amazing. She's actually the one who first started teaching me to paint, and I actually listened to this one. So I'm hoping that y'all can get to meet my friend Virginia one of these days, or V. She likes to be called V. One of these days I'll get V on, and we can paint together. She's way better than I am, and she taught me. She's got my favorite colors, period, hands down. Favorite color choice. She has it. So, love y'all, bless y'all, and that'll be all for tonight. I have dropped my paint brush in the middle of my painting. Yes, that sounds about right. Are you painting right now, Sheila? That's kind of hilarious, actually. Alrighty. I'm going to go and clean up this huge mess. I'm going to put this one probably in a frame one of these days. And then this is going to dry in the garage because I have no place to store it right now. No, you're not painting. Okay. Oh, you've just done it in the past. So, love y'all. Bless y'all. Good night.